This video is honored and dedicated to the Vivian. Rest in peace, James Lee Williams. Hello, and welcome to Drag Race Stats. So I made this channel to make statistic videos about RuPaul's Drag Race, to see how each queen of each season did. We're looking at winners, Snatch Game winners, Trade of the Season, and who should really have won based on statistics. And I'm only looking at seasons where RuPaul is the judge and host. And this time we're looking at All-Star 7 All Winners. Something that the fans had asked for a long time. A season where all winners were competing to be the queen of the queens. Which was honestly such a good idea. Yeah, I was definitely very excited to see this. Of course, there was a lot of powerhouses on the season. I mean, makes sense when they're all winners. So I expected some really great challenges. And I also think we got that. But yeah, how this works is that it's actually a non-elimination season, so no one goes home here, which is understandable because you can't really send a winner home. That's a bit weird to do, because how can you send a winner home in the first episode? Like, who's the worst of the winners? That doesn't really make sense. But I gotta be honest, first time watching it, I thought it was a little bit boring because we only got the positive critiques. We know that they gave them negative critiques, they just chose to edit it out for some reason. And also just watching every episode with no one going home, it's a little bit weird for a competition where you're used to people going home. So in that way it was a little bit boring, I would say. So the rules of this competition was that every week there was a top 2, and then they each got a star badge for winning the challenge, and then they had to lip sync, and the winning queen could block any of the other non-winning queens from receiving a star in the next challenge. But the only problem with this is that the queens don't know what the next challenge is. If they did know, then it could be funnier to have that strategic way of blocking a queen, because they just go in blind and then the blocking can be very irrelevant. At least there were some relevant blockings here where a queen didn't receive a star, but it only happened 3 times. Of course, opposite to All-Stars 9 where it never happened. And then we have the issue with the last episode where the winning queens would win 3 badges for the last challenge, so anyone had a chance to be in the finale, which makes sense, but it's also just a bit weird that just throw the whole competition out the window for the very last challenge. But in the end, the queens were divided into 2 groups, sort of the losing group and the winning group. And so this time I tried to guess before watching the season which queens would be in what group. So in the winning group, I thought it was going to be Shea Coulee, Trinity the Tuck, the Vivian, and Jinkx Monsoon, which meaning the 4 other queens I thought was going to be in the losing group, of course. Going into the season, I absolutely thought that Shea was going to win the whole thing. Because when I look at her, she is the only one, I mean, except for Trinity, who can do literally anything. She's funny, she can act, she can dance, she can sing, she can design. And that is why I thought she was going to win in the end. I said Trinity as runner-up because I think Shea would win over Trinity in a lip sync at the end. I put the Vivian here as number 3 because I also thought she can do all of those things, but I think she would lose in lip sync to the other 2. And Jinkx I thought was gonna be very funny in all the challenges, which she was, and make it to the end, but then would lose in the finishing lip syncs, but that didn't happen. So this season is of course very different from other All-Star season, so my video will also be a bit different. I will talk about each episode and what happened, who won the challenges, who won the lip sync, who they blocked, and then when I'm done talking about all the episodes, I will look at each queen's progression there and talk about how many challenges they won, how many badges they received, how many times they blocked another queen, and how many times they themselves were blocked. So there's gonna be a lot of things here. And then I also wanted to talk about which challenges I thought they should have won. And this is only based on personal opinion, of course, so don't come for me. Anyway, let's get started. So in episode 1 we had the remix of the song Legends, because now they swapped the order of the talent show and the remix. Which I think is really sad, because I think it makes sense to have the first episode be the queens doing a talent show. So you can get like reintroduced to them and like remember what they were good at. Comedy, lip syncing or live singing. Yeah, you know, that's really all they do. And then have them do the glow up runway where they take one bad runway from a previous season. That would be my ideal first episode of an All-Star season at least. But that's not how it is anymore. So we're starting off with the remix now. I think everyone did a really good job here. I don't think there was any bad performances. So yeah, I think it was a very good episode. And also a very good runway with the crowning, where they all had like regal runways. I think it was very good. But in the top 2 were Monet and Shea ended up winning the lip sync and chose to block Trinity, which I think was very smart because she knew that her season 9 sister was good at a lot of stuff. And I will not talk about who I think should have won or not. I will leave that until the end when I talk about each queen. In episode 2 we had Snatch Game, where each queen had to prepare 2 characters, which was very nice. I think that was a good idea because they should all be very strong at this, because half of the cast has won it before, and it's only Yvie who has been in the bottom 2 for it. And people say that this is the best Snatch Game there has ever been. I tend to disagree. I think Jinkx's Judy Garland is one of the best performances, but I don't think in overall it's the best, because I think we only had 3 really good performances, and it is by the queens we see here, Trinity, Jinkx and Raja. I think the others just fell a bit flat. I don't know what happened with Shea. She completely checked out, I think. And Yvie is just not very good at this. And Jada was like unpurposely funny as her prince. I was laughing a lot at it, but I don't think it was on purpose. But yeah. Monet, I think it was fine, both of her performances, nothing special. And the Yvie, we know that she wasn't really checked in the first couple of episodes. She does come back with a vengeance, that's for sure. But Jinkx and Trinity ends up in the top 2 here, and Trinity didn't receive any badges because she was blocked in the episode prior. And Jinkx surprisingly won the lip sync and chose to block Shea, which makes sense because she just won the previous challenge. In episode 3 we have the ball. The realness of Fortune Ball, where each queen has always had to come up with 3 looks. The first one being Vanna White realness, where they have to do an interpretation of Vanna White. Vanna White! And she was also there, which they all were surprised by. That was really funny. And then the second look was the before and after, where they had to combine 2 people in one look, like Olivia Newton-John, John Waters. And then the third look was the Fortune of Realness Extravaganza, where they of course had to come up with their own looks, based on a color from a city that they were randomly given by spinning a wheel. And this was a bit weird because I think they rigged it against Shea, because she had said that she was not allowed to use real people in the second look, which then a lot of the other queens were allowed to do, so I don't know what happened there. But this is also the episode where we are reminded of how good Trinity is at designing looks. And creating them, of course, in both design challenges. But in the first one, I love her red look. It is so incredibly good. But yeah, Trinity already wins her second challenge, and this time it is with Jada Essence Hall. Jada ends up winning the lip sync and chose to block Jinkx, because now they're just going after the queens who just won a challenge, which is, I guess, kind of smart. In episode 4 we had the improv challenge with the Fairy Tale Justice. You know, kind of like in All Stars 4 where they did that Jersey Shore Justice Court thing. So now they're doing the same thing here, just with fairy tale characters for some reason. I don't know how they keep coming up with this weird shit. But it was actually very good. There was a lot of great performances by Jinkx and the Yvie. Raja really surprised me here. And Yvie also did so incredibly. Oh yeah, and I also think Trinity was quite good, even though she was there very shortly. And am I the only one who thinks Jada and Monet look kind of hot in those pig noses? But yeah, Jinkx and the Yvie is in the top 2 here, but Jinkx didn't win any badges because she was blocked. And the Yvie wins the lip sync. And this time she chose to block Monet, which I don't really know, but I guess it's because they're quite good friends, so she knows she's a force to be reckoned with, maybe? Yeah, she probably just should have gone for Trinity, so they kept the streak. Or she just wanted someone else to be blocked this time to make it more fair. I don't know. In episode 5 we had the Draguation Speeches challenge, which they of course have never done before, so that's always fun. But I don't really know how this would or should be judged, because it says it needs to be something inspirational but also funny. And I think that a lot of the queens were funny but not inspirational, and a lot of the queens were inspirational but not funny. So how do you really judge this one? I think that's a problem. I think the only one who managed to do both was Jinkx. Raja was very funny, but I don't saw any inspirational thing in the thing she said. She was more doing a character cult leader thing. Then we had Yvie, which I thought had a great speech, but there wasn't a lot of humor in it. And it was the same with Trinity's and Shea's. And then the Yvie was very funny, but not very inspirational. I don't know what I'm saying. This was a weird challenge to judge. It was a very good challenge. But yeah, Jinkx and Raja was in the top 2, and Jinkx won the lip sync. And this time she chose to block the Yvie, which I think she saw as her biggest competitor because they can do the same things in comedy, I guess. And in this challenge, they also won an extra badge that they could give to one of their other competitors. And Jinkx and Raja chose to give an extra badge to Yvie and Jada. In episode 6, we had the girl groups, where they split up in 2 groups and performed songs that was like supposed to be from the 90s. Was supposed to be like Y2K fantasies that everyone is for some reason obsessed with. I don't really get why. But it was very clear to me that we had a winning group who did that, and then the other group who was like the outcast who made their own characters, and they each was like a member that was from a different girl group who got rejected or something. Jinkx was an old lady, Yvie was a girl group robot, and the Yvie was just British, and Jada had diarrhea or something. But yeah, it was really weird because then the other group ended up winning, or at least the 2 queens from that group, which were Yvie Oddly and the Yvie. The Yvie doesn't receive any badges because she was blocked, of course, and she does end up winning the lip sync, and then she gets back at Jinkx and blocks her, which is just smart for all the reasons. But also, what the fuck was going on with Raja's verse? That shit made no sense. In episode 7, we had another design challenge, and it was the legendary legend looks, where each queen had to design a look inspired by one of RuPaul's previous looks, which I thought was quite fun actually. And again, we just see an immense of talents of the different queens here. I think Trinity, Jada, and Monet did the best in this one, and Jinkx was also there. You know, it was quite convenient to have a design challenge right after Jinkx was being blocked, just saying. But yeah, in the top 2 was again Trinity the Tuck and Jada Essence Hall, just like in the previous design challenge. And Trinity won the lip sync this time, and she chose to block Yvie for some reason. I have no idea why she didn't just go for Jinkx, because they saw how many wins Jinkx had, so why would she not just being blocked every time? I don't know if the production told them not to do that or something, but yeah, that was weird for me. I know she said she wanted to stop her in her tracks because she had been given a win, or she had been given a star and then she had given a win. So I guess that's why, I don't know, maybe. In episode 8, we had an acting challenge with the Santa Schools for Girls, which was also Mean Girls in a way. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these Christmas themed challenges sometimes, but it just seems very out of place. A very, very funny challenge again. I would say the Yvie, Jinkx, Trinity, Monet, they all did so fucking good here. I was really dreading that Jinkx was gonna get another win here, but she didn't, luckily. I was actually very happy about that, not gonna lie. I think, again, Shay is very checked out. I don't want to understand what's happening with her in these acting challenges. She used to be quite good at those at season 9 and All Stars 5, so it's really weird why she's being so held back in these. And I was starting to lose hope that she was gonna win this season. And this episode also just had the best guest judge and director we've ever seen, I think. Jessica Bravo, I think her name is. Like the way she helped Trinity, for example, understand what her character was. It was so brilliant, and it just like made it so much better. So please bring her back. But in the top 2, we have the Yvie and Raja. And Raja actually wins the lip sync here, and she chose to block Jada. I don't know if it was because she just won the previous challenge, or it's just because Jada hadn't been blocked before. I think it was probably that. In episode 9, we had the Dance Like a Drag Queen challenge, which was also a new one, where they had to create these TikTok looking videos of dance challenges that would go viral. And let me just emphasize on that. Dance challenges? As in dancing? You know, as in moving to music? Not making a sandwich? Anyway, it was a weird ass challenge, and I didn't understand what was going on half of the time. But it was also a branding challenge, which just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's way too many things at once. So you have to dance, you have to make a TikTok video that's, you know, something that could go viral. You have to brand yourself, and you also have to be funny. It's a lot of weird things at once. It's annoying sometimes how many challenges are only based on comedy, because not every queen is good at that, of course. But also just if someone is very good at dancing, like Shay, but not the funniest, then they don't win. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, the top 2 queens are Jinkx and Monet. But no, this episode was just very clear to me that Jinkx was gonna win, of course. But also, I just thought it was so rigged, and I think the queen was so tired of it too. I know that Shay, amongst others, had like threatened to quit. And then I think all the queens got $10,000 out of it. That's also why I don't understand why they didn't block her every time they could. Because then maybe she wouldn't have won. I don't know. I mean, they were still gonna do something so she would win, of course. And this was the first time ever that we had a lip sync where it was a spoken word performance, which I thought was so cool. Like, it was such a great idea. I don't understand why they haven't done more of this. They really should. But yeah, I think they probably expected Jinkx to win this, but Monet actually took it, and I think that was very well deserved. And she chose to block Raja, which had just won a challenge, but also was the last one to not be blocked, so I think that was the reason. In episode 10 we had the roast, which was very good. It was almost perfect and almost the best roast we ever seen. It's probably the best roast we've seen up until this point, because unfortunately Jada just messes up her set. Like, she messes up some jokes, she has some jokes that doesn't land, but if she had, this would have been the best roast ever. And it was also just a hilarious start as well, with Wintergreen coming in and talking like Kennedy Davenport. That was so funny. And I will say that I was very surprised by Raja and Yvie here, and of course also Trinity. But yeah, so the top two were Jinkx Monsoon and Trinity the Tuck. And Jinkx actually beat Trinity again. And no one was blocked here because that stopped in this episode. And in episode 11 we had the very last challenge, which were the talent show, finally. It was alright. I don't think it was the best. I think there were like 3 standouts, which were Shea, Monet and Raja. But yeah, it was okay. It was just stupid that the winning queens got 3 badges each, so they could pick exactly who they wanted to be in the top 4. But Shea and Monet ends up winning, and Shea wins the lip sync, and again, of course, no one's blocked. And I think this lip sync between Shea and Monet is probably one of the best ever. It's so incredibly sexy. It's so good, and like the point where they both lie down and then gets up at the same time again. Oh my god, it's so fucking great. Oh yeah, and also every time a queen won a lip sync, they also received $10,000. But in this one, Shea also won $30,000 for her given charity, and all the other queens also won $10,000 for their charity. So that was very nice. But before this episode ended, it was announced who was in the top 4. So after winning the talent show, Monet and Shea was of course in there, and also Jinkx for having enough badges. But then we had a tie between Trinity and Jada with 3 badges. And then for some dumb ass reason, Monet had to choose who was going in because she had the most badges. Which makes no sense. Why would you put this on her? Why would you not just say, Trinity, you have the most wins, being 4 over 2 of Jada's, and just let her go on? I know that they knew that Monet was gonna choose Trinity, because of course she would, but I just don't get it. Like, it's so dumb to me. But yes, she obviously chooses Trinity, and so those 4 are in the top 4 of the lip sync smackdown for the Queen of All Queens showdown crown. Who's gonna win this thing? Which then means that the Yvie, Raja, Jada and Yvie are in the She Done Already Had Hers smackdown lip syncing crown thingy majingy. So now we are at the finale, where every queen had to perform against each other in a lip sync smackdown in 2 rounds, of course. We started off with the She Already Done Had Hers, which was the losing group, but they're still fighting for money though, so that was very cool that it did this, I think. But yeah, the first lip sync we had was the Yvie versus Yvie Oddly, and I think there's just not really no keeping up with Yvie, so... But yeah, Yvie Oddly wins here and moves on to the next lip sync. The Yvie, the winner of UK Season 1. She won 3 challenges, but she only won 2 badges. She had the power to block another queen twice, and she was blocked herself once. I think she should have won 2 challenges though, which were the 2 acting challenges in episode 4 and 8. I don't think that she should have won the girl group. I think there were 2 other queens who did better. But yeah, unfortunately, the Yvie did pass away on January 5th. Such a beacon of light that has left the drag race community. It is so sad and shocking that she died at only 32. Such an early age, and she will forever be missed by many of us. Very glad that she made it here. So with that, we did see her again on the show. Rest in power, Queen. So now we get to the second lip sync, which were Jada versus Raja. It could have gone either way, I would say. I think Raja captured the more like 80s style of the song in a way, and she was also very funny, but Jada is also such a good lip syncer and put up all the stops and stuff. I think it could have gone either way, so I wasn't too mad about this when Raja won. Jada Essence Hall, the winner of Season 12. She won 2 challenges, but had received 3 badges because she was also given one, and she had the opportunity to block once, and she was blocked herself once. I think that Jada should have won 3 challenges. I agree with the 2 designing challenges, but when I look at the Dance Like a Drag Queen challenge in episode 9, it is a dancing challenge, but it's also a branding challenge. So I would have given her one of the wins here, because she does a good job with that. You know, she uses her catchphrases like "look over there" and "the essence of beauty," and she also does a dance routine that I think it's very funny and very her. And she also had the best runway in that episode. But yeah, instead of going to the final lip sync of Raja versus Yvie, they actually switched over to the other group. And the first lip sync here were Jinkx versus Shea. The problem with these lip syncs are that the editing is so annoying. Like, they keep switching away from the queens, like they show the judges, they show the other queens' reactions, or they just zoom in on one queen so you can't see what the other one is doing. So, you know, they can manipulate the result however they want, and I think they did that here, because I'm sure that Shea did way better than we actually saw. Shea Coulee, the winner of All Stars 5, and she was also on season 9. She won 2 challenges, but had 4 badges, because she received 3 from the last challenge, of course. She did win 2 lip syncs, but had the power to block once only, and she was herself blocked once. In my opinion, Shea should have won 3 challenges though. The 2 that she already got, but also the girl group episode, because she was just so good in that. Moving on to the next lip sync is the Twinners, Trinity versus Monet. And honestly, this lip sync is just so frustrating to watch, because you don't see much of it, like I said before, with the editing, but this one is even worse, and I think it's because they want to censor Monet, you know, fucking Trinity basically, so they don't show a lot of it. It keeps cutting away. So I have no idea how to judge this lip sync, so I guess it's fair that Monet wins. I don't know, but I think she would have beaten her anyway. I could see that happening. Trinity the Tuck, one of the winners of All Stars 4, and she was also on season 9. She won 4 challenges, but only received 3 badges because she was blocked once. She only won 1 lip sync though, so she was only able to block once, and she was also herself blocked once. I do agree with Trinity getting 4 wins, but I would actually swap it around a little bit. So I would have given her the 2 design challenges, no doubt there, and I also think that she was the second best in the roast, which was very surprising, so I would keep that one as well. And then it gets a little complicated, because I did remove her Snatch Game win and then gave her the branding challenge Dance Like a Drag Queen instead, that Jada also got. So they actually win 3 challenges together, which is all of Jada's challenges. That's pretty funny, because I also think she does a better job branding herself with the southern accent and talking about her tuck. And I also think her runway was very good that episode. And with Snatch Game, it's not that she did a bad job or anything. She just did 2 characters that were very similar, and it was a very good Snatch Game between the 3 of them, so I think it's fair. But Trinity is also Snatch Game winner. So now we're moving on to the finale lip sync of She Done Already Done Had Hers group, which is of course Raja versus Yvie Oddly. And it was just a little bit sad, because I think that Yvie really won this one when she did that fake slip of her wig coming off to then reveal into another wig, and then they film over to Ru and she just looks completely unfazed. I think she did such a great job in this lip sync, and then she just lost. Yvie Oddly, the winner of season 11. Just like on her first run, she only won 1 challenge, but she did receive an extra badge, so she had 2. She did not win her lip sync, so she didn't block anyone, and she was also blocked once. But I would actually take away her girl group win, because I don't think she deserved that, and then give her 2 others actually. So I would give her the wins for episode 4 and 5, which is the improv challenge with the fairy tale justice, and then the graduation speech. I think she did an amazing job in the first challenge, where she was the wolf, the big bad wolf. You know, she was in both scenes as the only queen, and she was just really amazing in that challenge. It was so fun. I did not expect her to be that good. You know, her only other win was also an acting challenge. And the graduation speech, I think she should have won as well, because she was so inspirational to listen to. She didn't have a lot of humor in it, but I think she had the best speech. So that's why I would give it to her. But unfortunately, Yvie was the most overlooked on this season. You know, they cut out all the negative critiques, of course. She was told that she hadn't shown growth at all after winning, and that she was just showing the same things over again. Which I don't think is very fair to say, because her makeup skill has improved so much, and they kept commenting on that. So I don't know why they would also tell her the other things. And she just had a really bad time of the season, so it's really sad. Raja, the winner of season 3. She won 2 challenges and therefore had 2 badges. She won one lip sync, so she was able to block once, and was also blocked once herself. I would actually take away both her wins here. I don't think she should have gotten the Drag Race speech or the acting challenge. The acting challenge, they kept showing the same clip over and over again every time they talked about her and how good she was in the challenge. I think they showed it like 3 times at least. And the Drag Race speech, she had a character that was a cold character, but it didn't really fit the brief in my opinion, so I don't really know why she won these 2. I think it was just because she had to get some wins, and these were the ones that she could get. I think she was very close at winning the ball, but her second look was just not good enough. But I do give her 1 win, and that is for Snatch Game over Trinity, because Trinity had 2 very similar characters, and Raja was just so good in this one. She was really great, and she just surprised me a lot. And now we have the final lip sync of the entire season, which is Jinkx versus Monet. And just like the previous lip sync, it was the wrong queen who won this as well, because there was so much that it didn't show. Like Monet has talked about that she had a lip sync with Jinx's name on it, that the entire rapping Nicki Minaj's verse was cut out where Jinkx just stood there and looked at Monet doing nothing, and Monet did the entire thing like word for word. So yeah, again, it just sucks that the wrong queen wins the lip sync. I also think this one is a bit more complicated than the other one, because it doesn't really matter who won the other challenge, if it was Yvie or if it was Raja, but this one is the entire season. It would be a little bit weird if Monet did win this entire competition just based on one lip sync. So yeah, I think it makes sense that Jinkx got it at the end. Monet Exchange, the other winner of All Stars 4, and she was also on season 10. She won 3 challenges and had the most matches with 5, since she won 3 in the last challenge. But she only won 1 lip sync and therefore was only able to block once, and she was herself also blocked once. I would give her 3 wins, but I'm gonna give her 2 others that she doesn't have and take 2 away that she does have. So I'm actually gonna take away the first win that she got, which was in the first episode, and it's nothing against her. It's just because there were 3 queens who did amazing in this one, and it was Shea, Jinkx, and Monet. And Monet just had the worst outfit on the runway and in the challenge. And also the branding challenge, because I gave it to Jada and Trinity. I just don't think she necessarily won that challenge. I mean, it was a weird challenge. But then I would give her the win for the second acting challenge, the Santa School for Girls, because I think she did amazingly in that one. Get it over Raja. And the other challenge I would give her is of course the girl group. And Monet is also the trade of the season. She's just really sexy, to be honest. Jinkx Monsoon, the winner of Season 5. Just like her Seattle sister Ben Delacreme, she also won 5 challenges on her first All-Star season. But she only received 4 badges, since she was blocked from getting one. And she won the most lip syncs as well, being 3, so she was able to block twice, since there was no blocking after the roast. And she was the only queen who herself got blocked twice, since everybody else only got blocked once. And she still managed to win. If it were up to me, she would only have gotten 4 wins. And not all of them are the original ones. So she actually tied with Trinity for 4, in my opinion. But yeah, the ones I would have taken away from her is the branding one, of course, where she ate a sandwich. And also the Fairy Tale Justice. That one was really hard to judge. Did choose to give it to Yvie over her. She keeps the roast, she keeps the Drag Race speech, and she keeps Snatch Game. And then the 4th win that I would give her was the first episode with the Ru mix. Because her verse was very fun, it was very good, and she had the best runway in the episode, I think. At least of her and Monet. There were actually quite a few episodes where Jinkx had the best runway of all the girls, which were a bit surprising, I would say. And Jinkx is also the Snatch Game winner. And if you want to sum it up, you can pause the video now and see how I think the wins should have gone for each episode. But yeah, Raja and Jinkx Monsoon are technically both the winners of All Stars 7. Raja won $50,000 and Jinkx Monsoon won $200,000, which she was the first queen to do. But now that we have looked at the stats, who should really have won? If we start with the She Done Already Done Had Hers group, there are multiple ways of looking at this. But if you want to do the most fair here, I think that Shea and the Vivian needs to swap places, because the Vivian had 3 wins and Shea only had 2 wins. And then Shay, Raja, and Jada ties with 2 wins, but Shay is the only one to have won both her lip syncs, so she would have been the winner of the She Done already had hers. But since Shay is not in that group, the Yvie should have won this group because she had the most win with 3 over the others that had 2 and 1. Since she was eliminated here, it was Raja who should have won over Yvie with 2 over 1 win. So in that way, it was fair enough. And if we look at the winning group, the top 4, it would always have been Jinkx since she had the most wins with 5 over everyone. So congratulations to Jinkx Monsoon for winning All-Star 7 All Winners. And now let's see how I did. So I did get 3 out of 4 right, which was pretty impressive, but I did not get the right winner. Jinkx winning is... I think it's fair, but it was also a bit pushed, I would say. When I first watched it, I was kind of mad that she got so many wins. But then watching it back, I do think she deserved most of them. I did take 2 away from her, but then I gave her another one. So I think it was pretty fair. It was just that lip sync, it's so annoying to watch at the end. And Shay was of course more or less pushed into the final 4. I don't really know why, since she was eliminated in the first lip sync. What was the point there? Did they want Raja to win the other group and not have Shay in there or something? I have no idea. Trinity did about as expected, I would say. The Yvie I was surprised wasn't here, but she also had to be for the track record wise. So in that way I almost got it right, but not really. I mean, if it was completely fair and not rigged, Shay would probably have won this season, because she did beat Monet twice in a lip sync. And yes, I was definitely sleeping on Monet. I did not think she was gonna do very well, to be honest, because season 10 she didn't win any challenges, and All-Stars 4 was very up and down for her, I would say. But she did do very well in all the challenges that I didn't expect her to do well in. So now we are at the end of the video, and whew, finally this has been so long and so hard to make. There was a lot of things that I had to cover and a lot of things that I wanted to say, and at some place I did actually try to keep it short, but yeah, the video still managed to become very long. But I think this was a great season after watching it back, actually. Like I said, first time I thought it was quite boring, but when you are used to the premise and also seeing it like again on All Stars 9, I think it becomes better in that way, because there are a lot of great challenges and the queens of course do amazingly. But yeah, we are finally done, and next time I will be looking at All Stars 8. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Also check out my other channel where I make gaming and Pokemon Go content. See you next time. Bye bye.